My name is Eric Michael. I've sold over $5 million in sports cards, and in this video, I'm going to answer the most common question I get, and that is, how do I find cards to make money on? Simple question. And instead of beating around the bush, saying this theory, that theory, I put together literally a step-by-step process on exactly what I do that goes through my head when I go and look for a card, because sometimes when I talk in these videos, it's just easy for me to throw things out there. But I know some of you guys who are watching this are brand new to sports cards, maybe some terminology, you don't know what it means. So I put together on a Google Doc exactly what I've been doing for the past 10 years when I go online and find cards. This training is specifically for finding cards online. I promise you, just this simple, let's see, it's a 7-step process. Just watching this video alone will expedite your sports card learning curve by years, okay? This took me years and years to learn, and I put it together in 7 simple steps. So let's head over to my computer. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so here we are. It's a simple 7-step process. I'm gonna break down exactly what's going on here and exactly how this works. So step number 1, we have to decide what sport we're buying, right? Pretty common sense. And right now, while I'm writing this, it's September 4th. And if you have followed any of my content, you would know that you want to be buying things when they're low, selling them high, right? And when a season starts, the way sports cards works is, for example, the NFL season is about to begin. Because it's about to begin, a lot of these guys are hyped, a lot of demand, and their prices are high. What happens when prices are high? Most of them come crashing down by week 3, week 4, week 5. And what we're doing here is we're buying cards to get graded. If you don't know what buying a card to get graded means, it means you're buying a card, you're sending it off to a company, and if they determine it's in good condition, they will give it a high grade, it'll increase in value, you'll make money. That's how it works. And if you're going to be buying something, and it's going to be sitting at the grading company for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, there's randomness sometimes to how long it'll take. We want to be buying an asset that's going to appreciate. The last thing I want to buy right now is football, because odds are when I get this card back in a month, it'll be worth less. I want to be putting the wind in my back and be buying something that I think has a high chance of going up. And right now, while I'm speaking, right, it's September 4th, and the basketball season starts October 22nd. So it's kind of like on the line of like getting cards back, because I want to have every single basketball card sold by the time that season starts. We're kind of cutting it close. Also, baseball, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to make money on, and there's more guys to buy than basketball. So right now, I'm looking for baseball. All I have to say, I'm looking for baseball. Now, next we have to determine the best products to buy. So there's a bunch of different types of products, right? There's like Bowman Chrome, Topps Heritage, Topps Series, and there's a bunch of other types of baseball cards. Okay, that's all that means. Some are better than others. Now, baseball is pretty simple. The best product is Bowman Chrome. That's it. Hands down, it's the most desirable, it's the most liquid, they sell for the best. And then there's others like Topps Chrome, Topps Heritage, Topps Series. Now, this is the difference between Bowman Chrome and these. So a player signs his Bowman Chrome autograph when he first gets drafted or first signs a contract for the minor leagues. You only sign Topps Chrome, Topps Heritage, Topps Series, these other good products, after you've been called up and usually you've played at least a year. Okay, so like if 2023 was your rookie year, usually 2024 you'll have your first Topps Chrome or Topps Series. And because of that, I usually state for Bowman Chrome, right? So I'm getting into the best players to buy. So I personally, what I like to do is I like to buy guys that have the highest chance of going up and have the biggest swings. You know, blue chip guys like Ohtani, Trout, even guys like Gunnar Henderson, guys who are proven and been in the league for at least a year or two, they don't really have wild swings. The guys with wild swings in value are prospects, right? These guys who are 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, who have never played a major league game before, right? It's very similar to like a penny stock, right? A penny stock is going to have wild swings in value. So this nice little list I linked here, the top 100 MLB prospects, tells me, it gives me a good indication of what are the best prospects to buy. And when I'm buying baseball, right, I ask myself, well, if I'm going to be buying something, it's going to be sitting at the grading company for a month, and I might be holding it for a few months. Who has the best chance of going up in value? Right? That's a pretty logical question to ask myself. And when I am thinking about that in terms of baseball, I'm asking myself, well, who has the highest chance to get called up in spring training? Right? Because if you're a young 19, 20, 21-year-old prospect, and let's say you're play for the Mets and you're expected to start for the Mets, you're going to gain a lot of hype and momentum and demand. Hype and momentum and demand means prices go up, right? Nobody cares that Pete Alonso is going to start next year. Everyone knows he's going to start, right? However, these young prospects, people get excited because they think they're going to play well, and you can lean into that and make good money. So let's take a quick look at this prospect list. I already looked at it, so I kind of cheated, to be honest with you. But someone like Marcelo Meyer. Marcelo Meyer is a perfect example. He's a shortstop. Shortstops are pretty desirable. He plays for the Boston Red Sox. It's a big market team. He's in the AAA. He's 21 years old. And if you click, you can actually look at his stats here. And he's having a pretty, really good year, actually. He's hitting 307 with 8 homers. So someone who's 21 years old and he's a pretty high-end prospect, chances are he's going to be called up next year, right? So Marcelo Meyer is someone who I think is a good buy. Jordan Lawler already came up, and he didn't play as well as people thought he was going to. Max Clark, someone else, 19, is playing really well. Carson Williams is another guy. Let's see, he's not having the greatest year, but he's already 21 years old. 21 years old, 6'2", 180, Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays aren't the biggest market team, but he'll probably be called up. Roman Anthony is another good one. Boston Red Sox, AAA, 20 years old. Let's see what the type of year he's having. He's hitting 278, pretty solid, 18 homers, really solid. So let's take these guys, Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. All right, let's say I'm looking to buy these guys. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called a query search, okay? So what a query search is so let's say I'm just looking for their Bowman Chrome, and I know Marcelo Meyer's Bowman Chrome is his rookie year. So I'm going to type in 2021 Bowman Chrome. I'm going to put a parentheses here. I'm going to put a comma, and then next to it, I'm going to put 2023 Bowman Chrome, Roman Anthony. So what this is doing, this is 2 independent searches in one. It saves me time. And I'm going to do minimum price, $100. So let's search for this. And over here, you can put minimum price, $100, right there. Okay. And you could also click, I guess it's not, sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's an option here on the left-hand side for clicking off not graded, but I guess it's not here. So it's not here. It's no big deal. And there's 2 ways to search. I could go for newly listed. When I'm going for newly listed, usually I'm looking at cards that I'm going to make an offer on or go back and forth with the seller. Or my favorite is if I'm filtering by auctions, I could use one mid-bid count. So what that is check this out. If I do ending soonest and I check off auctions only, so there's not a lot. Not a lot of auctions, so this isn't the best example to use. But what you can do is click advanced here, and you can go to click one min bid count. And when you click search, what that'll do is it will only show you cards with at least one bid, because so many people will try to start their auctions at way more than the card is worth, and they'll have 0 bids. So what this is telling us is when you click search here, these cards that have bids, you know this card is at least within market value, right? If people are bidding on it, it's at least within market value. But let's go back. Let's get rid of this, and let's go back to our original search. Newly listed. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm just going to search for Roman Anthony, because Marcelo Meyer, it's going to be harder to find his cards to get graded, to be honest, because his rookie year was a few years ago, so there's going to be a lot of his cards going to be graded. Let's take a look. So, now what I'm doing is I want to evaluate the condition. Okay, the corners, the edges, the centering, the surface. So let's take this card, for example. This card's not bad, but it's probably not going to grade. You can see this left-hand side is bigger than the right-hand side, so it's probably off-centered. Let's take another look at another card. Same thing. The centering's kind of near the left. It's smaller than the right. You can see that, hopefully. So there's not a lot of Roman Anthony cards to get graded. Let's change this up. Let me get rid of this minimum filter. Let's do like minimum like $50. Let's see if that oops, that was $5. Let's do minimum $50, and let's just see what kind of happens here. Roman Anthony, True Orange, Bowman Chrome Draft. This doesn't look bad. Interesting card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to evaluate the numbers, okay? So I'm going to open up another tab, and I'm going to look, right? When I'm buying a card, I want to at least double my money. Okay, so after fees, after grading, after everything, I want to at least double my money. So I'm going to try to find this card on eBay now. Roman Anthony, Orange, out of 25, Bowman, Chrome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to sold items down here to see what this card actually sells for. And you see this card's at 20. Oh, nope, that's a different card. This is Bowman Draft. This is Bowman Chrome. You know by that little symbol right here that says Bowman Chrome. There's just that little red symbol that stands for Bowman Draft. So slightly different of a card. All right, here we go. This is a good example. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with this card, but you can see a 10 only sold for $40. This is a few months ago, so. And then you can see another 10 sold for $100, but if this card sold for $45, and a 10 did 100 right after fees and shipping and everything, I'm probably not going to be able to double my money. So, like, I mean, I might throw an offer out here at like $20, but the guy's probably not going to accept it, so probably not worth it. Let's go back to our list and try to find someone else that's an interesting buy, because not a lot of cards of Mr. Roman Anthony. All right, so I switched things up, and I'm going to search for Marcelo Meyer now. So what you could do is, it's popping up now. You click not graded, so it's only going to show stuff that's not graded. And you can see, just once again, not a lot of stuff. But I'm curious. This card looks interesting. Black Bowman Chrome. Say $400. Let's see what this card sells for. Let's do 2021 Bowman Chrome Marcelo Meyer Black Auto, because I have no idea what this card sells for. So this card does like, one just sold like a month ago for $820, and a raw at $420, so it's not too bad. This card's already at, so it's at, I mean, this is Canadian dollars, so I would throw a bid in here at like $380 to $400, because remember, I'm buying this card expecting it, when this card sells, I'm buying something that I think is going to appreciate, right? So, like, hopefully when I go to sell this card, it's worth like $900, $950, $1,000. So, like, I'd feel comfortable, bidding like $410, $420 American dollars. This card looks pretty good. But yeah, right. All I did is I'm just taking it off this list, and there's so many other guys to like buy. Like, I know he's a solid guy, Cole Young. He had a lot of hype a few years ago, but this is just a basic example of me showing you, how my little system, my 7-step system works. And then if you're offering, I usually offer 80 to 90% of comps, or if I'm bidding, I'll just bid the most that I would want to pay. So that's how my 7-step card finding system works. And let's head back to the camera. If you're enjoying the content of the video and want to learn how to make a side income with sports cards, I spent the past 3 months putting together a training to show you exactly how it's done in detail. Sports cards has allowed me to live a life beyond my wildest imagination, and I'm thankful for the hobby every single day. That is the reason I teach sports cards, and I'm so passionate about it. At the end of the training, we offer a paid program where you can work closer with me. However, I do not want you joining until you've watched the training I put together. It will show you exactly what's inside the program and how to make money with sports cards, and from there, you can make an educated decision. If you'd like to sign up for the training, either scan the QR code on the screen or text the word Eric to 973-755-9486, or click the link in the description. Just to repeat it, if you'd like to sign up and watch the training, scan the QR code or text Eric to 973-755-9486, or click that link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Hopefully you found that training valuable. I know it sounds funny. It looks so simple on a Google Doc, but it took me years and years to kind of put all those pieces together. And the most important thing to understand, I mean, there's two main things, right? Make sure the numbers make sense, right? If you're gonna be buying a card to get graded, it doesn't make sense to buy a card for $50. It costs $20 to get it graded, and as a 10, it's worth $75, right? There's no money to be made. I see people make that mistake all the time. Secondly, the condition, right? You want to make sure the condition of the card is good, right? The corners, the edges, the centering, the surface, all that stuff. And lastly, as a bonus and a cherry on top, what most people miss is timing the market, right? You want to be buying stuff that has a high chance of appreciating, right? It's just common sense. If you're going to be buying something and it's going to be sitting at the grading company for a month, month and a half, 2 months, buy something that has a high chance of going up, or at the very least, not go down. Like I was talking about earlier with football, most guys, when football starts, are just going to go down, right? It's just how sports cards works, right? So if you buy a card for $100 today, and right now a PSA 10 is worth $250, you want to be buying something that has a decent chance of that PSA 10 being worth $300, $325, $350 by the time you get the card back. And also, if the card does not grade well for you and it gets a 9, because it's appreciated 10, 20%, it gives you a good chance to break even or maybe even make a little bit of money. That's how to remove a lot of the risk out of sports cards, and that's why it's such an amazing business. It's the only business I know where you could simply take an asset and double or triple its value legally in the first, month, 2 months of having it, as opposed to like real estate, right? Real estate's a similar concept, right? You're buying something, you're fixing it up, and you're selling it kind of like buying something, getting it graded and selling it, except it's just way more time, way less profit margins, way more complicated with loans and escrows and all the crazy stuff. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll put the Google Doc I was using in the video below. I'll see you guys in the next one.